log into AI agent control panel, you have two options here. You can log in as user or admin. Let me log in as, say, user. Password is welcome1. That is the default password where everything is lowercase. So once you log in as a user, you can just see the console. If I log out and log in as admin, use the same password welcome1, I see the administration tab, and under the administration tab you see users. Here you can add a username, display name, password, and in the role you can select whether this person can be user or admin. So the main difference is if you log in as a user, you have option to only this screen, which I will explain a bit later what it does. That is the console screen. However, if you log in as administrator, you get a lot more functionalities. I want to test my AI agent. So here, if you look at the runtime, you have an option to either use an AI agent to test, or you have an option to choose select AI profile. If I choose AI agent team, it will look for the default agent that has been selected. That is the team that is calling the agent. However, if I select AI profile, it would go and look for the select AI profile that is marked here. So let me select AI agent team and run a quick prompt. So this can be any prompt, but I'm just giving about the fraud detection one, investigate claim ID 10 with some other additional details. So let me click on run. If you look at this prompt that is running, it gives you specific instruction what is running. Like for example, it is calling a run team for FSA underscore fraud investigation team. Later on, it will show the status of what is getting executed. That is the generation of HTML code or something else. So you can also see the progress bar, the percentage completed. This is set for ideally 2-minute execution time, but you can configure it to show more. Configure it to say the 100% can be more than 2 minutes or something like 3 minutes something. So while this takes some time to load, let me talk about the rendering instruction. Click on this. There are different instructions that have been given, like for example, rich text instructions, which is currently active, where this is the instruction that is given to the pre-configured Grok LLM model. Of course, you can configure different models here, like it can be a Meta Llama. I will come to how we have done the configuration, but right now you can assume that the Grok and Meta Llama models have already been configured. So you select the pre-configured model here, and then you can define the LLM instruction. If you want, you can edit it here, or if you want some other mode, like for example narrative mode or plain markdown rendering, you can choose on any of them. So, and then you just click on save button. Okay, so this just showed in markdown rendering. It took around 111 seconds. So this is the details of data. What I will do is I will make slight change here. Since I loaded the markdown rendering, I want that to come as a rich text. I made that active and rerun the same query. Okay, more or less it took the same time to render the HTML output. So here you can see a little bit richer information, like an executive summary, claim details, customer summary, policy summary, vehicle details, incident details, third party summary, and then some mapping. So basically this whole thing, and also there is the most important thing is it is getting data from even a RAG knowledge base with some citations for this particular query based on the claim ID. Here are a couple of third-party integrations that I've done for this AI agent, like getting weather from, say, openmeteo.com website, and a Google Sheet integration that you see here for the customer, Lily Harris. Okay, so the most important thing about the tool here is you can see the HTML output. You can see the raw output, the one that is here. You can save this. You can open this HTML in a new browser window. Or if you want to save this file, let me say it, you can choose the folder where you want this one to be saved. So I'm just saving it under this folder. I can create a folder, just click on save. So that particular report has been saved. I can export this as PDF. What I would like to do is I want this to be uploaded into OCI Object Storage bucket and do a vector indexing so that this document itself becomes like a knowledge base. To do that, I will click on upload MD button, that is upload markdown, but it can be HTML as well. So this is the markdown file URL and click on upload and index. So it will do two things. One is it will go and upload this file into OCI Object Storage bucket that has already been pre-configured. The second thing it will do is it will do a vector indexing. Once this one is done, it will say the RAG indexing is completed with 102 chunks indexed. So this is an information. What it really means is this is available in the RAG knowledge base search. That is this document. Now let us look into the administration section. Here you can do plenty of admin activities. Like let me start with the first one, the AI agents. Right now I'm using one of this agent, that is FSI fraud underscore investigation underscore team agent. That is the default one, but I can just change the team. Changing the team means changing the agent also. So I can change the default one. If I change the default one, that will be available here under the agent name. If you want to look at the execution of the given team, you can just click on execute button here. So you can see the big list of what we just did the search. Here you can see under more information what was the output of different phases of execution, the JSON that it returned in terms of data, the prompt. So you get a bird's eye view of which step was taken and what was the result, and you can also view the previous execution steps. This would help you debug if there are any errors in execution or if some JSON data is not coming. So the second tab is AI Manager. Here this is built on Select AI implementation. So to create an AI agent, you might have used some tools, you might have created some tasks, you might have created AI agents and AI teams. So here and also AI profile, RAG profile. These are all some things that you might have created. One thing you can do is you can delete if there is something that is not required, or if you want to create, you can also go and create a new one. To create an AI agent, you might have used some tools, you might have created some tasks, you might have created AI agents and AI teams. So here and also AI profile, RAG profile. These are all some things that you might have created. One thing you can do is you can delete if there is something that is not required, or if you want to create, you can also go and create a new one. The third one is AI response. Here you might have saved many of the existing reports. You can just go and click on these reports and you can view that detail here. When I say report, I basically mean the chat response back, that is the prompt and its corresponding response. You can edit this name, or if you want to, you can rename this, or if you want to delete, you can delete. If you want to create some more folders, you can create a folder here by clicking on create folder here, or you can hide this one. Yeah, if you want to hide this browser for a better view, you can do that. You can show browser. You can upload this document to object storage and do a vector indexing from here, or if you want to refresh this view, you can do that. So basically the idea here is whatever reports that we generated, we want to have a copy of it stored here. The advantage what it gives is you need not requery the same prompts and wait for a couple of minutes every now and then. You can come back to the saved reports and view them. In AI Builder, there are like pre-created templates. If you either want to create a AI tool, or if you want to create a task, or if you want to create a AI agent, or if you want to create a AI team, or if you want to create a Select AI profile, or if you want to create a RAG profile, there is a predefined template with a predefined description. you can just modify this and click on create this particular object, that is select AI profile or team or tool or something. This will automatically be available with the new set of new set of tools or tasks under AI Manager. Network topology is where you want to generate some diagrams dynamically based on the team selected. For example, I have selected one of my team, that is a fraud investigation team, and that shows how it is actually linked to different tools tasks. For example, a team is calling a particular agent, and the agent is calling a set of tasks, and then that is calling a set of tools, and that is calling a bunch of functions to do various things. And of course, it is using a couple of profiles like this one. So all this is dynamically generated through to the AI topology. This is another example of another team that maps all the way from agent, task, tool, and functions. You can download this PNG file if required. MCP tester is another tool. Like if you want to establish an database connection, autonomous database connection through a MCP server, you can do that. I have already established a connection that can call various other tools, or it can do a natural language search, and you can select the AI profile and hit submit. That will give the response back. So click on run MCP. So this is establishing the connection with autonomous database using MCP server connection, and immediately you got some response back for that query. This is pure JSON response where there is no LLM, but you could add a layer of LLM on top of it and render the way you want it. User prompts is basically keeping track of what user is searching and what is the response back. This is like for every conversation ID there is a question and answer session, like a prompt and response session that you can view here. If there are any errors, you might be able to view that here. This is like a big list of logs that you can see here. There is no memory table assigned for this one, but basically if you want to store data in a database memory, you can view the content of the memory. For example, user might have their own preferences that they want to store in a database table as a permanent memory. Those things can be stored in agent memory table that is shown here. Of course, this is not configured for this particular scenario, but if your database has an agent memory table, you can view that. This is one more important thing, like when you're working with RAG, you might want to look at the RAG pipeline attributes, like for example, which is the location it is pointing to, which credential it is using, different markdowns or data in object storage bucket. If there is a pipeline history, you can view that. So all the RAG related information is available in this particular option, that is RAG. Knowledge base upload. If you want to upload a markdown or an HTML, you can. In this example, we have restricted to markdown upload, but if you want to upload a HTML or PDF or markdown, you can choose the file. You can click on upload. That will go and upload that particular file in OCI Object Storage bucket, and it will vectorize the content. So once it is vectorized, it will be available in our console for search. Configuration is very important here. You can switch between different databases, and when we talk about database configuration, you have the details such as database user, database password, connection name, connection string, the valid location, default select AI profile, memory table, default vector index. If you are configuring LLM, you might want to give the LLM name, the endpoint, the model that you have chosen, the compartment ID, the credential, the RAG dimension, RAG chunk size. This is all like a pre-configured set that you might want to do in configuration. And one thing that is interesting to note here is it is using the same configuration file that typically we do for Python or different programming, where you might want to look into OCI config file. So it doesn't need a different connection setup because the config file will have information like your fingerprint, compartment ID, tenancy, OCID, and a lot more details. So you just reuse that connection here. In terms of application itself, the most important thing is in .env file, where you have this information on the database username, password, connection string, memory table. You have a basic copy of data available here in this .env file. And there are a couple of config files where you have the link config JSON files, where you have a couple of pre-created links or LLM instructions with their own name or runtime configuration information. So you can edit this and work around with this one. And this is a Node.js application. There is a feature list document that you can go through, and there is also a GitHub deployment document. You can follow this one. But basically, starting this is very simple. Like you can just start the server and it should automatically install all the Node modules which are available here. Thanks for watching and have a great day.